Imagine you need to master a really complex skill, something where, a mistake in the real world could be incredibly costly.
Yeah, like high-stakes stuff.
Exactly. Think about pilots learning to fly, surgeons practicing delicate procedures, or even a customer service representative handling a truly difficult call.
Right. What do all those have in common?
Well, they all rely on practice, right? Repeated practice,
Yeah,
but in safe, simulated environments. It's an incredibly effective way to learn.
absolutely. Tried and tested.
But what if, and this is the big question, what if this powerful method could be available to everyone at scale without the massive costs and logistical nightmares that usually come with it?
That's the exciting frontier we're exploring today.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Our deep dive is into the cutting edge of education and AI, specifically how generative AI agents are revolutionizing simulated practice.
Yeah, and this isn't just about simple chatbots. It's about creating these dynamic, adaptive learning worlds.
So where are we drawing this from?
Our deep dive today is based on a really fascinating paper from the Generative AI Lab at Wharton. It lays out how these multi-AI agent systems can create truly adaptive and personalized learning experiences.
Basically tackling those traditional roadblocks head on.
Exactly. Overcoming those barriers.
Okay, so our mission for you today is to unpack precisely how AI can break down these long-standing barriers to effective simulations.
We'll dive into a real-world example they built called Pitch Quest.
Right, see how it works in practice, and then explore the incredible promises, but also, the important considerations that come with this powerful new educational tool.
Absolutely. Need to see both sides.
So what does this all mean for the future of how we learn? And maybe even for how we define expertise itself?
It's a big question. But first, maybe we should talk about why simulations are so good in the first place.
Good idea. Why do they work so well?
Well, simulations are such powerful learning tools because they immerse you in realistic but low-stakes settings.
Low stakes, that's key.
Right. This is crucial for repeated practice, especially for those unstructured problems where there isn't one single right answer.
Like negotiation or complex decision making.
Exactly. We see this effectiveness across the board. Military training, healthcare procedures, even training for trucking or customer service is about building skills through immersive experience.
Without the real world consequences.
Precisely.
But here's where it gets, really interesting. If they're so effective, why aren't they everywhere? Despite the proven benefits, simulations have always faced these huge roadblocks to widespread adoption.
That's the core problem they were trying to solve. They are incredibly difficult and, frankly, expensive to create and deploy widely.
You need experts, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Think about it. Detailed scripting, design.
Hmm.
You need subject matter experts, instructional designers, programmers. It's a huge undertaking.
Just for one scenario.
Exactly. And then, if you want it to be really good, meaning giving learners real choices, having multiple outcomes depending on what they do, that takes extensive pre-planned design, branching narratives,
Which adds even more complexity and cost.
Right. Plus, there's no single platform. They often need expensive, customized software, and adapting them for different classes or contexts. More work.
And tracking how students are actually doing within that complex web must be tough.
Extremely challenging. Understanding an individual's path, their specific struggles, it's hard for an instructor to get clear insights.
So the result is?
The result is that high-quality simulations, despite their immense potential, remain largely underutilized. It's a real shame.
Okay, so that's the dilemma. They work, but they're too hard to make and use widely. So what's the game changer? What makes this suddenly seem accessible?
This is where generative AI steps in. It offers a powerful solution to these challenges.
How so?
By significantly lowering the barrier to entry for creating these simulations. It makes them far more scalable.
Okay, scalable simulations. That's quite a claim. So when we talk about AI agents here, are we just talking about a slightly smarter chatbot? Or is it fundamentally different?
That's a great question. It's different. We're talking about multiple separate instances of a large language model like GPT-4.
Multiple instances.
But here's the key. Each one is given specific goals and a degree of autonomy. They're guided by prompts, other techniques. They're specialized.
So not just one general AI trying to do everything.
Exactly. You might have a mentor agent, an investor agent, a feedback agent, all interacting.
And what's the impact of using that multi-agent approach? How does that fundamentally transform what's possible?
It's transformative in several key ways. First, personalization and adaptability. AI enables Loads of practice rounds.
Well, reps.
Yeah, interactivity through text, maybe even voice or video eventually.
Yeah.
But crucially, it can adapt dynamically to what the student says and does.
So it really tailors the experience on the fly.
Precisely, making it truly personalized and evolving with the learner.
You also mentioned role-playing and mentorship.
Right. The AI can take on various roles, present challenges, offer guidance, provide tailored feedback.
And you said earlier something about improvisation. That sounds key. How does that capacity to go beyond a script change things?
It's a huge shift. AI's ability to improvise allows for creating dynamic characters that go way beyond just predefined responses.
So they don't just repeat lines.
No, they're not just following a script. They're responding in real time, considering the context, their persona. Much more like a human would.
That unlocks much greater realism, I imagine.
Exactly. Realism and depth for the learner.
Okay, let's connect this back to how learning typically happens in simulations. There's that sort of 5-step loop, right? Instruction, immersion and choices, practice, feedback, and reflection. How do AI agents enhance each of those?
Yeah, they can really turbocharge each step. It's a complete paradigm shift.
Oh, okay, take instruction. What's the difference?
Before AI, instruction might be a general video, maybe limited Q&A. Now, you can have a personalized mentor agent.
A dedicated tutor AI.
Kind of. It adapts to your experience level, tailors conversations, encourages your questions. It's like having a private guide.
And the characters you practice with, you called them NPCs before, like in video games.
Right, non-player characters,
Yeah.
often very scripted, limited responses. With AI, you get NPC agents.
What's the difference?
They have richer backstories, personalities, and crucially, they can improvise. They adapt to a huge variety of student responses. They feel much more alive. Unpredictable sometimes.
Like real people.
Hopefully, yeah. And the storylines themselves used to be these limited branching paths, pre-planned.
You could only explore certain routes.
Exactly. But with an AI Game Master agent, the storyline can evolve dynamically based on what you do.
So each playthrough is unique.
Potentially, yes. You're genuinely shaping the narrative through your actions.
Wow. Okay, what about feedback? That's critical for learning.
Absolutely. It used to be hard-coded, based on track choices, maybe. Quite generic sometimes.
But now,
Now, you can have an AI coach or advisor that gives truly tailored feedback right after the simulation.
how tailored?
It analyzes the transcript of your specific interaction, points out strengths, weaknesses, links it back to the learning goals. It's like getting a personalized debrief instantly.
That's powerful. What about for the instructor? How do they benefit? Used to be basic reports, maybe?
Pretty basic, yeah. Choice tracking, completion rates. Now, imagine a class insights agent.
Okay.
It analyzes all the interactions across the entire class. It can summarize individual student performance, but also identify common struggles or misconceptions across the group.
So the instructor gets a much clearer picture of where the class is at.
A much clearer picture. This is invaluable for knowing where to focus, who needs help.
And the last step, reflection or debrief.
Well, instead of just static materials, you could have an instructional agent
Do what?
reading those class insights reports and providing targeted suggestions for the debrief session or follow-up activities, helping the instructor tailor the discussion to address the specific gaps that emerged in the simulation.
So it really closes the loop, connecting the simulation practice back to the classroom teaching.
Exactly. It sounds like an incredibly powerful tool for educators.
It really does. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the theory and the potential, which is exciting, but what does this actually look like? How does it work in a real simulation?
Great question. And that brings us to PitchQuest.
PitchQuest, the venture capital pitching simulator you mentioned.
Exactly. Developed as a proof of concept by the Wharton Generative AI Lab. It's a perfect example of these multi-agent systems in action.
Okay, walk us through it. If I'm a student using PitchQuest, what's my journey?
Right. So it starts with an initial survey. This gauges your goals, your current abilities, maybe asks about interests.
Why interests?
We'll get to that. You also get some guidance on how to interact effectively with the AI, setting expectations.
Okay, setup done then.
Then you get some direct instruction, probably a video, covering the essentials of VC pitching. Standard stuff.
Got it. Instruction phase.
Next comes a personalized prep. This is where you interact with that mentor agent designed as a tutor.
The AI tutor we talked about.
Exactly. And here's where the survey info comes in. The mentor agent might use something you mentioned, say, a hobby, to connect new pitching concepts to something you already understand well.
Making it stick by relating it to familiar things. Clever.
Yeah, it helps make the learning more intuitive. And it encourages you to ask open-ended questions. But critically, It doesn't just give you the answers for your pitch.
It pushes you to think it through yourself.
Exactly. Then you choose your challenge.
How so?
You select one of 3 different AI investor personas. They mention names like Aria Iyer, Anna Ito, Adam Ingram, each with a distinct investing style and personality.
So you can pick who you want to practice pitching to. Gives you agency.
Right. And you choose an idea to pitch either one they provide or maybe even your own idea. More agency.
Okay, so you've prepped, you've chosen your investor and your idea. Then comes the main event.
Then comes the active practice. The core pitching session with your chosen investor AI.
And this AI isn't just passively listening.
Definitely not. It tests your skills, asks pointed questions, follows up if you miss key elements. It's designed to feel like a real, challenging investor meeting.
Okay, tough but realistic practice. What happens after the pitch?
Feedback time. You get feedback from an evaluator agent.
Another specialized AI.
Yep. This one analyzes your pitch transcript, identifies strengths, weaknesses, and gives specific, actionable advice.
Specific advice is key.
Very. And you might also get a personalized video tutorial from a human expert, chosen based on how you performed. If you struggle with financials, maybe you get a video on that.
So it dynamically selects relevant human-created content, too.
Right. Blending AI feedback with curated expert resources.
And then reflection.
To wrap it up, you get a takeaway document.
Hmm.
Reinforces the key lessons from your specific session, offers broader implications for real-life pitching. It completes that learning loop.
Okay, that sounds like a really well-thought-out student experience. What about the instructor side? You mentioned those insights agents before.
Yeah, PitchQuest implements those too. There's a progress agent.
What does that do?
It reads each student's individual pitch transcript and summarizes their performance, typically one key strength, one area for improvement.
So the instructor gets a quick snapshot of each student.
Exactly. Helps them know, as the paper puts it, who to call on for what in class discussions. Facilitate peer feedback, maybe.
And then the bigger picture.
A class insights agent takes all those individual summaries and synthesizes them. It provides a high-level overview of the entire class's common struggles, common strengths, knowledge gaps.
Ah, so it spots trends across the whole group.
Right. And it even offers targeted suggestions for the instructor on how to debrief that session, what follow-up activities might be useful.
So it helps tailor the next stage of teaching based on the simulation results. That's incredibly valuable.
It really bridges that gap between individual practice and group learning.
Okay, so we've seen what these agents do in PitchQuest, and it sounds impressive. But how? How do they actually build this? What's going on under the hood?
Yeah, it's easy to see the magic, harder to picture the mechanics, but it's actually quite elegant.
Okay, give us the non-engineers version. How do they make these AIs work together without it becoming chaos?
Well, it boils down to a few core technical ideas working together. Think of it in layers.
Oh, layers, great.
First, you have the agent itself. That's the base LLM like GPT-4, the raw intelligence, if you like.
A brain.
Right. But that brain needs instructions, and it needs to communicate in a structured way. That's where concepts come in.
Concepts.
Yeah, think of it like giving the AI specific templates or formats for its output. So when the AI generates text, the system knows, okay, this part is dialogue for the student, this part is its internal thinking or planning, this part is a grade, and this part is feedback.
Ah, so it's not just one big block of text. The system structures the AI's response.
Exactly. It allows the system to parse and use specific parts of the AI's output for different purposes.
Yeah.
Super important for keeping things organized and functional.
Makes sense. Structured output. What else? How do you keep it on track during a conversation?
That's where logic comes into play. These are basically simple rules.
Like if-then statements.
Kind of. Simple rules that guide the AI's behavior based on conditions. For example, if the conversation has gone on for X turns, prompt the AI to start wrapping up. Or, if the student mentions keyword Y, trigger behavior Z.
So lightweight guardrails or triggers.
Precisely. And finally, there's context. This is how an AI agent actually connects to the user interface, the buttons you click, the variables in the simulation. It links the AI's internal world to the student's external experience.
Okay, so agent is the brain, concepts structure the output, logic provides rules, and context links it to the interface. How does prompting fit in?
The system builds the prompts dynamically. It takes static parts, like the AI's core persona instructions, and combines them with dynamic parts like what the user just said, or choices they made. And it includes instructions for using those concepts for formatting.
So it's constantly feeding the AI tailored instructions based on the flow of the simulation.
Exactly. And this whole process prompt, AI response, parsing with concepts, applying logic, happens in a loop. They also mention safety valves, like maximum iterations, to stop things going off the rails.
It sounds like a really sophisticated dance between letting the AI be creative and keeping it focused on the educational goals.
It is. It's a clever way to harness the power of these models while managing their, well, sometimes unpredictable nature.
Right, because it's not perfect, is it? The paper talks about the jagged frontier. What are the limitations here?
Yeah, it's crucial to acknowledge those. Current generative AI, while amazing, isn't flawless. In long simulations, they can sometimes lose the thread, get inconsistent.
Forget what happened earlier.
Sort of, yeah. Or their persona might drift. They can also show bias, lack nuance in sensitive situations.
And the hallucination problem,
That's a big one. They might confidently give you incorrect advice or information.
which could be really bad in a learning context.
Potentially, yes. They might also stray from the intended lesson, or sometimes their characters become a bit caricatured, if not carefully prompted and managed.
And are they equally good for all types of simulations?
Not necessarily. They seem better suited currently for things like pitching, negotiation, maybe customer service scenarios, more complex interpersonal skills like handling really difficult conversations or deep ethical dilemmas. That's harder,
Still needs work there.
definitely. Plus, that randomization factor means different students can have quite different experiences, which instructors need to be aware of.
Okay, so there are definitely challenges. How did the creators of Pitch Quest address these, particularly the ethical side?
This is really interesting. They established clear AI principles to guide their design. It's built around responsibility.
Like what?
First, transparency. Students are told up front, very clearly, they're interacting with AI, not a person. And any AI-generated text is clearly marked, no deception.
Good. Know who you're talking to.
Second, data usage. They're transparent about what limited data, like maybe survey info for personalization, might be shared with the underlying AI provider, like OpenAI, and what stays private.
Privacy is key.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Third, student empowerment. They actually provide tips to the students on how to interact effectively with the AI.
Like prompt engineering for learners.
Sort of. Things like asking the AI for clarification, giving it context, how to steer the conversation if it goes off track, and importantly, how to critically evaluate its responses. Acknowledging the AI isn't perfect.
So it teaches AI literacy alongside the main skill.
In a way, yes. Putting the student in control and making them a savvy user.
Okay, and the fourth principle.
Testing. They emphasize ongoing pedagogical evaluation. Does it actually teach effectively? And they're developing automated agents to playtest the simulation, specifically looking for issues like harmful outputs, inconsistencies, or the AI failing to achieve the learning goals.
Constant refinement and safety checks.
Exactly. These principles seem foundational to using this technology responsibly in education.
Because if we do get this right, the potential seems enormous. What are the broader implications here?
Well, the potential to truly democratize access to high-quality experiential learning. It's huge. Think about making this kind of sophisticated practice available to anyone, anywhere, not just those in well-funded institutions.
Supporting instructors, reaching more learners.
Exactly. It holds considerable promise.
Okay, so to quickly recap them, and PitchQuest serves as a fantastic real-world example of how this can be implemented effectively and ethically, enhancing every step of the learning loop.
From personalized tutoring to dynamic practice to tailored feedback and instructor insights, it really opens up a new world of learning possibility.
It really does,
Yeah.
which leads us to that final kind of provocative thought.
Where does this all lead?
Right. If AI can now custom tailor complex, real-world practice for countless individuals at scale, what previously inaccessible skills might suddenly become universally learnable? And, maybe even more profoundly, how will this redefine the very concept of expertise in a world already saturated with information?